My name is India. I was in a cult for 7 years.
Keith Raniere is the most horrific cult leader.
I had to ask permission to eat. He was doing demeaning sexual acts.
It kept getting more extreme.
The cruelty is beyond the pale.
I had no idea the worst was about to happen.
All right, Starfish.
All right.
So we're going into the second part of the NXIVM.
All right. Woo, I can't wait to finish.
I know.
It's been a whole couple weeks.
I know. So this story, I mean, it's all over the place. And, maybe some of you have gone out and, looked it up and learned a little bit more. But we're going into the second part of this because this is the whole meat of the story. So I would classify him as a sexual predator, 100%. This guy created this whole facade about himself, believing that he's some sort of spiritual advisor to women. And he believes that men should have multiple sexual partners and women should only have one. So, I mean, it sounds kind of like on other religions that we know about too. It's just crazy, how these men just think they have this crazy power over women like that. I just can't get over that stuff,
I'm actually thinking of Amy Carlson from the Love is One cult.
Yeah.
Where it seems as though the leader, man or woman, it's always so self-serving. It's always they are allowed to have as many sexual partners. It's weird how that's always a key feature. It's never anything like, all of you can have as many partners as you want, and I only have one. It's never that way,
Oh, yeah.
It's always, I can have all the indulgences in the world and you guys get my scraps.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not 100% obvious to people right away? I guess it just takes so long to figure this out with some people. They're just so charming.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They have to be.
Yeah, it's just, they just must have this thing about them. I don't know what it is, but, he just thought he could do whatever the hell he wanted. Basically, because he's I have all the money, all the power, everyone loves me. They would throw parties for him at his seminars, birthday parties for him. Everyone would be oh, the master. So he had a bunch of townhomes that he purchased in Albany, New York. So he had a bunch of them around, and he would have volleyball tournaments where people could come over, members that are doing the NXIVM courses, and they could play volleyball with him and ask him questions in between, so getting advice from this guy who I don't even know even has much of an education, but the Guinness Book of World Records somehow put him in there as one of the smartest people on the planet. I don't know. Maybe because he knows how to manipulate people. Maybe that's his intelligence. But it's just crazy to me, this whole story behind him. So what happened in 2017 is, this is kind of where it turns into some real bad stuff. So, and all along, I mean, it's been kind of he's basically a predator. He was getting all these women to come into his cult, and he would kind of break them down slowly. He would find young women. He would require that they be 100 pounds or less. And so they were starving themselves for him. And he would make some of them be available for sex 24/7. Whenever the phone rang, they would have to go and service him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And they would do these branding procedures where they would brand women with his initials with a hot poker, like you would
oh wow,
a cow. Yeah.
Physically,
Oh
wow.
yeah. Without any anesthetic, nothing. They would just burn it right into their skin.
Wow.
And yeah, this 45-minute thing. So a lot of people still to this day defend him for,
of course. I
mean, because this has been going on for 23 years here. So,
yeah.
A lot of people have been sucked into this stuff and believe that it's real and believe that it's true and it's good, and fake news and making up all this crap about this total sexual predator, basically. I mean, it's disgusting. He went after a woman that were 15. So basically kids and above. And he wanted them all to be under 100 pounds. It's disgusting.
Ew.
Totally disgusting. So in 2017, they created this, this is, I think, when it was discovered. This might have been going on for a while, but it's called Dominus obsequious sororium. I'm probably just like totally butchering that because I don't speak Greek, but it was touted as a secret sisterhood. So it started in 2015, in which female members were allegedly called slaves, and they were branded with the initials of Raniere and Mack. So Allison and Mack.
Wow.
Yeah, at that point. And they were subjected to corporal punishment from their quote-unquote masters and required to provide nude photos or other potentially damaging information about themselves as collateral.
Wow.
So basically, law enforcement representatives are saying that the DOS members were forced into sexual slavery for this guy. And so what he would do is he created a pyramid scheme with sex slaves. So he would recruit like 3 women, like Allison Mack played the role of helping him with this part, obviously, because she thought she was something. And so they would recruit like 3 women and then be like, okay, so now you guys we have all this incriminating evidence. We have all these nude photos of you. We're going to show your family if you don't do what we tell you.
Yeah.
Like they would force them to like turn over all this information, or they would probably hack in and get all this information on these people to blackmail them. And, and so they would say, now you have to recruit 6 other women. And so it just created this whole pyramid of sex slaves, basically, for
that
Raniere.
Is so crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of genius, though, because then he's not having to keep being the face and going out there and getting the people to come in. It's like a network.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Ew. And they were all for him?
Yes. Well, and I'm sure there was more to it than that. I mean, I hadn't had a chance to like really dive into some of this because there's only so much time in the day for some of the research on this. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of the HBO shows and the Star Show probably go into more detail about that kind of stuff with this. It wasn't until early 2018 that Keith Raniere and Allison Mack were arrested and indicted on federal charges related to the DOS, including sex trafficking. And then others associated were also charged with federal crimes. So some of those, like the co-founder, Nancy Salzman, Lauren Salzman, her daughter, and then the Seagram high-risk Claire Bronfman and bookkeeper Kathy Russell were also in trouble with this whole thing.
Why did all these freaking women do this just for this guy?
I know. It's sad that we have a society where women feel like they're just like not superior to men in some fashion or another. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sad that a society makes women feel like they're not worthy. I think he gets them when they're real young, you know, because I think we kind of all have that. Like, we were stupid when we were younger. I mean, I know I was. I did a bunch of stupid stuff when I was young. So, you know, like a 15-year-old kid, like if some rich guy was like, hey, I'm going to give you, you know, like $300 if you do this, I would have been like, okay. You know, like, it's just so bad.
I know, I'd love to think that I wouldn't. But especially if you're really poor and very uneducated or very, very young. I know that that's specifically the kind of girl they look, you know, and especially if you're being blackmailed, you know exactly who to go to. The friends or the girls who are going to be the most vulnerable. Right. And then the ones at the top, like Allison Mack, I mean, yeah, just a deep, deep, deep-seated insecurity about herself. So bad. She feels like she's probably his partner. She feels like, oh, this is very much like, so much like Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's freaky how similar they are.
I know. It's crazy. I mean, even when I was searching and looking up all the stuff on the story, a lot of Epstein stuff came up, and I feel like they are in ways similar. I mean, I think Raniere definitely was offering courses, so it's a slightly different business model. Yeah. If you want to use that terminology with this gross crap. But
I don't think Jeffrey Epstein had a business model. He was just independently wealthy. But it was similar where he used Ghislaine to get these young women in the door. And she was just so willing to do it because, well, I mean, it looks as though she was just obsessed with him, basically, and thought that by doing it, she was giving him what he wanted. I don't know, that, you know, only she could give him what he wanted. I don't know. Yeah. It's very deep insecurity, though.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So Raniere was convicted in federal court of sex trafficking and racketeering on June 19th of 2019, but then some of them haven't even been sentenced until 2021. When they arrested Keith Raniere, they found him in Mexico with a harem of women. And when they arrested him, they were like chasing him down the street. Like they wanted him back. Like that's how messed up this guy is.
Wow.
And I mean, next to him,
I can't believe he just went down to Mexico and did it all over again.
Yeah, like he just kind of like has his harem of women that follows him everywhere because he's like a spiritual leader for the world, apparently. Yeah, it's just...
I can't believe these...
Oh, I know.
The belief in all of this and then the breaking down of the people. Gosh, it's so crazy.
Oh, yeah, just breaking down all these women. So here's another thing. In January of 2020, a federal lawsuit was filed in New York accusing Raniere and 14 associates of conducting illegal psychological experiments on members of the company and abusing them physically, emotionally, and financially. So
psychological experiments like what?
That, I don't know. Probably just breaking him down to make him believe that he's some sort of, like, special god or some crap. Well, you know, whatever their weird cult stuff is.
I wonder how they get away with this, how Scientology gets away with this when this NXIVM cult is doing the same thing. I mean, these are all so similar. Scientology does the same thing. It's very self-helpy. And they make you, like, hold these electronic things that if you are lying or whatever, they'll like, fire off, like, lie detectors, kind of. So they're like, we know you're not really better. Anyway, Same concept. How does Scientology not get busted for this? Man, this is an interesting one.
Oh, for sure. It's like it involves a lot of different similar cases. It's almost crazy how similar some of them are. He is still actually communicating with NXIVM, even in prison. People are still out there.
Of course.
You know, he still says
They probably have a YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. He's still like the leader. He communicates with his followers. He tried to pay off lawyers and all sorts of stuff. Like, he still maintains his innocence, says that these women were consenting to him and all this other crap. There's been some celebrities that have tried to fight it too, to get their family members out. There was a Dr. Oz video too about this, you know, some of the victims of this. So it's just really crazy to me, like, how people still think that this guy really has something to say, that he's some sort of spiritual being. It's just insane to me.
I mean, it's happened before, obviously, because of all the other religions out there, but that we just are so willing to accept one person's light, energy, I don't know, vibe or whatever, as, like, so overwhelming to us that we believe that they're seriously like a beacon or something of knowledge and information. And I don't know, it's just like you really just have to not believe in yourself or something. I mean, I hate to say that about all religions, but it just, these people who they're looking for something. They're really, really looking for something, and they are just looking to believe in something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they've been indoctrinated because they've been doing this since they were kids. So what else do they know?
Right.
Is it really that bad for some of them? Maybe not.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I can't believe it. So I saw Allison Mack only got like 3 years or something.
Yeah. A lot of them didn't get a very big sentence, honestly. And some of them didn't even have to serve time. So there you go. The 1% again.
Yeah. And you know, like sex trafficking, that's a horrible, horrible thing. Right. But
yeah.
And that's what this whole QAnon cult thing is about, is sex trafficking. And we think of children and them being super vulnerable. I mean, I know if I had a 15-year-old daughter or something, I would lose my mind thinking about them getting involved in something like this. But then 3 years, that's all you get?
Yeah.
Because, well, they consented. They were 15. Sorry. You know. The punishments never fit the damn crime. It's always worth it to do the crimes. It's no wonder people do.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's insane.
And then you have a little joint on you down in Louisiana, and suddenly you're put away for the rest of your life, you know. But white girl Allison Mack, it's 3 years for sex trafficking.
Right.
For God's sakes.
Yeah, ruining people's lives.
Oh, my God.
Ruining families. Yeah, that's nice, right? Well, at least Raniere he got 120 years behind bars, thank God. So he's serving...
Oh, good.
He's serving a life sentence. He's 60, so I don't think he'll make that. So
good. Die in jail.
Okay, bye. Yeah, bye.
If he's not killed first.
Yeah, 100%. Ugh, gross.
Yeah, really, really. And so the other people, anybody else get any big sentences, or was it just mostly him?
I think it was mostly him. I mean, some of the others got some stuff. Don't remember what Salzman got. Hopefully she got a pretty hefty sentence, too, for starting this horrific disaster called NXIVM.
Yeah, really, really. Wow. What a crazy story.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about it as you were talking about IQ too. And, IQ really just means that he has an aptitude. So it means he has an ability to think quickly, problem solve in the moment. It's mostly about your ability to learn things and how quickly you learn them. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all that knowledgeable about a lot of subjects or anything that would make you actually worth. It's not like the Dalai Lama is really super educated either. But he was obviously brilliant enough and narcissistic enough to make this huge cult. So I'm just glad to hear he at least got big sentence. Yeah. Because he was smart. He knew what the hell he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, 100%.
And maybe he does believe in it. I don't know. Should he be in a mental institution instead? I don't know.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay, well, that was a great one, Mary Contrary. Thanks for sharing.
Yep, I'm going to go take some NXIVM now, so.
Settle your stomach.
Yeah, for real.
There we go.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Real Talk. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. We look forward to having you on our next one.